Hello and welcome to another Magic the Gathering video. So today we're looking at the first of the 4 new Commander decks. That's from the Commander 2019 product line. And the first one we're looking at is the Faceless Menace deck with Kadena Slinking Sorcerer as the primary commander. The deck's in Sultai colours, and we'll take a look at the closer look at the commander when we go through the deck itself. On the outside here it says we have 3 legendary foils. So well, we'll see, but I'm assuming that refers to the fact that we have a primary commander here and 2 other commanders that you can use for the deck that are on colour. So I'm assuming they are the ones that are in foil. And let's have a look at the back. So choose your commander and carve your path to victory in this unique multiplayer Magic format. Team up with Kadena and deploy a shape-shifting force of morph creatures to ambush your opponents, then take them down one by one. Since she fell out of favour among the Silumgar, Kadena has schemed from the shadows. Waiting for her chance to reclaim her station, she camouflages her spies with obscuring magic, hoarding information and influence until she can claw her way back to the power she craves. 17 new cards in here. Strategy insert reference card, 4 oversized commander card and 10 double-sided token cards. So let's get this open. What you normally find in the case of the new cards that are specifically printed for this product is that several of those cards may be in more than one deck. So with this, if you remember in the early days of Magic, I think you used to get all 3 commanders in the oversized format. Now you just get a single one. Very, very foily. Open this up. This is our deck box. Of course, once this is sleeved, it doesn't really function as a deck box too well. I mean, if you're using super thin sleeves on it, like, you know, slim, the real sort of snug fit ones, which are the real thin ones, I think you can just about get them in the box, but they only really fit when they're not sleeved. Interesting. Deck arranged here. Actually, before we do that, let's take a quick look at the insert. Let's just pull this back a bit. Okay, so these are all going to have very similar layouts to them. So it lists out the name of the deck, who the primary commander is, who the secondary commanders are, how you actually play the deck strategically, and actually mentions how you might adjust the way you play it based on which commander you choose to play. Then we have the basic rules of commander, and over on the flip side gives you a bit of background concerning the legendaries, some of the legendaries in the deck, the 3 commanders, and there's also mention of Griswold the Dreadsower. So we'll see how that fits in with our deck. Okay, so let's get onto the most important bit, which is the deck itself. You can see very nice and foily here. Hopefully the light is capturing the foil well. It's always tricky to do on camera. So we have Kadena Slinking Sorcerer, 1 black, green, blue. It's a 3/3 legendary creature, Naga Wizard. The first face down creature spell you cast each turn costs 3 less to cast. Whenever a face down creature enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card. And then we move on to our secondary commanders. Rayami, First of the Fallen, 1 black, green, blue. It's the same casting cost. This one is a 5/4 legendary creature, vampire. If a non-token creature would die, exile that card with a blood counter on it instead. As long as an exiled creature card with a blood counter on it has flying, Rayami, First of the Fallen has flying. The same is true for First Strike, Double Strike, Death Touch, Haste, Hexproof, Indestructible, Lifelink, Menace, Protection, Reach, Trample, and Vigilance. And we have Volrath, the Shape Stealer, 2 black, green, blue, so 1 colourless more to cast on this one. And for that you get a 7/5 legendary creature, Shapeshifter. With at the beginning of combat on your turn, put a -1/-1 counter on up to 1 target creature. It has an ability on here for 1 until your next turn. Volrath the Shape Stealer becomes a copy of target creature with a counter on it, except it's a 7/5 and it has this ability. So it looks like first up we have these new style tokens. These are all double-sided. So we've got there. We have a Saproling token, and the flip side is Manifest. Saproling, Manifest. And you can see a pattern emerging here. Oh, there's Morph. Okay. We've got an Assassin token. There's a real sort of shiny look to them. Assassin Morph. Oops. Morph, and clearly something is also generating plant tokens. Plant and a snake. And plant and a snake, but you can see got more from Manifest going on, which is no surprise based on the theme of this deck. So I think what I'll do is I'll go through the cards and I'll highlight the rares, maybe look at some of the other non-rare cards that look interesting. So first up we have Leadership Vacuum. So it's 2 and a blue, and I believe this is a new card in the deck. So let's take a look at it. It's an instant. Target player returns each commander they control from the battlefield to the command zone, and you get to draw a card. Got Myrin Misery. I think this is part of a cycle. It's 1 and a black. Each opponent sacrifices a creature or enchantment. Voice of Many. 2 and 2 green. Creature Elf Druid. When Voice of Many enters the battlefield, draw a card for each opponent who controls fewer creatures than you, and it's a 3/3. I'm wondering if it looks like all the new cards are at the top of the deck. Scare Tiller, 4 to cast, 1/4 artifact creature Scarecrow. Whenever Scare Tiller becomes tapped, choose 1. You may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield tapped. Return target land card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. I've got Echoing Truth in here. Reality Shift. Tezzeret's Gambit. Willbender. So you're starting to see a few more recognisable Magic cards. Looks like they haven't put all of the new cards at the top. Skin Thinner. Also got Morph on it. You can see we have Morph and Mega Morph in here. Aniok Survivalist. Cultivates in the deck. As is Explore. We're in green, so no surprise to see some ramp. And Farseek. We have a Great Oak Guardian. And then Tuco Vigilante with Morph. Securi Tribe Elder with different artwork from the original version of this card. Ice Feather Aven. Putrifies in here, as we're in black-green. Secret Plans. I have a On Colour Charm, which is a Soul Tie charm. Urban Evolution, Card Draw and Ramp. Soul Ring with the regular, well I say the regular, because if you go back to the original Soul Ring, the in the old card frames back in the day, it's different artwork, but this is the one we've sort of grown used to now with all the Commander products. Really changed the artwork. I believe there was a promotional Soul Ring when the decks were announced, which had different artwork. Thran Dynamos in the deck, and then we move on to our basic lands. It's going to be interesting to see what non-basics we get in here. Kadena Silencer, so we're moving on to a rare here. And this is a new card as well. So 1 and a blue, Creature Naga Wizard. When Kadena Silencer is turned face up, counter all abilities your opponents control. It's a 2/1 with Megamorph. So for 1 and a blue, you may cast this card face down as a 2/2 creature for 3. Turn it face up anytime for its Megamorph cost and put a +1/+1 counter on it. Sudden Substitution, another new card. 2 and 2 blue, instance with Split Second. So Split Second is an old ability, it's not a new one. So as long as this spell is on the stack, players can't cast spells or activate abilities that aren't mana abilities. Exchange control of target non-creature spell and target creature, then the spell's controller may choose new targets for it. Thought Sponge is in the deck. That's a new card. It's 3 and a blue. Creature Sponge, it's 1/1 with Flash. Thought Sponge enters the battlefield with a number of +1/+1 counters on it, equal to the greatest number of cards an opponent has drawn this turn. When Thought Sponge dies, draw cards equal to its power. It's pretty cool. Got a Gift of Doom. So this is another new card. 4 and a black, Enchantment Aura, enchant creature. Enchanted creature has Death Touch and Indestructible. For its morph cost, you sacrifice another creature. You may cast this card face down as a 2/2 creature for 3. Turn it up, face up anytime for its morph cost. As Gift of Doom is turned face up, you may attach it to a creature. Thieving Amalgam. So it looks like we have hit another group of the new cards. 5 and 2 black. 6/7 Creature Ape Snake. Now, that's a combination. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, you manifest the top card of that player's library. So put it onto the battlefield face down as a 2/2 creature. Turn it face up anytime for its mana cost if it's a creature card. Whenever a creature you control but don't dies, its owner loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. Apex Altisaur, I think that is, yeah, Apex Altisaur. Another one, new one, 7 and 2 green for a 10/10 creature dinosaur. When Apex Ultisaur enters the battlefield, it fights up to one target creature you don't control. It's got Enrage. Whenever Apex Ultisaur is dealt damage, it fights up to one target creature you don't control. Road of Return. So you won 2 green, sorcery, choose 1, so it's modal. Return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand, or put your commander from your hand from the command zone, but it has Entwine on it. So for its Entwine cost of 2, choose both if you pay the Entwine cost. Here's another legendary. This is in black-green. So potential here to spin out another deck from this. Obviously you would want to choose additional cards that would be more appropriate for this commander. But that's one thing I like about the commander products, is that as you go through them, there are other potential commanders within here which will create decks in completely different color combinations, or lacking certain color combinations, should I say. And so it opens up, obviously deck building possibilities here. Grismold the Dreadsower, 1 black-green. It's a 3/3 legendary creature, Troll Shaman with Trample. At the beginning of your end step, each player creates a 1/1 green plant creature token. Whenever a creature token dies, put a 1/1 counter on Grismold the Dreadsower. Pendant of Prosperity. 3 to cast. Artifact Pendant of Prosperity enters the battlefield under your control. Under the control of an opponent of your choice. Okay. 2 tap, draw a card. Then you may put a land card from your hand on the battlefield. Pendant of Prosperity owner. Pendant of Prosperity's owner draws a card, and that player may put a land card from their hand onto the battlefield. Scroll of Fate. Another new one. 3 to cast. Artifact, tap, manifest a card from your hand. Put that card onto the battlefield face down as a 2/2 creature. Turn it face up any time for its mana cost if it's a creature card. And we've got Ghastly Conscription. That's a mythic. It's not one of the new cards. This has been printed before. 5 and 2 black. Exile all creatures cards from target player's graveyard in a face down pile. Shuffle that pile, then manifest those cards. To manifest a card, put it onto the battlefield face down as a 2/2 creature. Turn it face up any time for its mana cost if it's a creature card, and that's at sorcery speed. Deathmist Raptor. Another mythic here. 1 and 2 green for 3/3 creature dinosaur beast with death touch. Whenever an opponent you control is turned face up, you may return Deathmist Raptor from your graveyard to the battlefield face up or face down. Its its Megamorph cost is 4 and a green. Hooded Hydra. Another mythic. X and 2 green creature snake Hydra. Enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 as counters on it. When Hooded Hydra dies, create a 1/1 green snake creature token for each 1/1 counter on it. Morph cost is 3 and 2 green, and as it's turned face up, put 5 +1/+1 counters on it. We have a legendary Planeswalker in here, in the form of Vraska the Unseen. 3 black-green for a 5 loyalty legendary Planeswalker Vraska. A +1 until your next turn. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to Vraska the Unseen, destroy that creature. -3, destroy target non-land permanent. Okay, so this is where the assassin tokens come in. So -7, create 3 1/1 black assassin creature tokens with, whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, that player loses the game. So pretty pivotal card in here. Another rare in the form of Chrome Shell Crab, 4 and a blue, creature crab beast, morph of 4 and a blue. It's a 3/3, and when it's turned face up, you may exchange control of a target creature you control and target creature an opponent controls. Ixodron, it's a creature illusion for 3 and 2 blue, star. So as it enters the battlefield, turn all other non-token creatures face down. So they're now 2/2 creatures. Ixodron's power and toughness are each equal to the number of face-down creatures on the battlefield. Kerril Spells Snatcher, I think that is. 3 and a blue, 3/3 Naga Wizards. Morph cost is 4 and 2 blue. When Kerril Spell Snatcher is turned face up, counter target spell. If that spell is countered this way, exile it instead of putting it into its owner's graveyard. You may cast that card without paying its mana cost for as long as it remains exiled. Stratus Dancers in the deck, 1 and a blue, 2/1 creature Jin Monk with flying and Megamorph. And when Status Dancer is turned face up, counter target instant or sorcery spell. 1000 Winds is in here, 4 and 2 blue, 5/6 creature elemental with flying and morph, 5 and 2 blue. When 1000 Winds is turned face up, return all other tapped creatures to their owner's hands. Vesuvian's Shapeshifter, 3 and 2 blue, creature shapeshifter, 0/0, so it's obviously going to get its cost, its power and toughness from its ability, which is as Vesuvian Shapeshifter enters the battlefield or is turned face up, you may choose another creature on the battlefield. If you do until Vesuvian Shapeshifter is turned face down, it becomes a copy of the creature, except it has, at the beginning of your upkeep, you may turn this creature face down. It morphs for 1 and a blue. Bane of the Living, 2 black, 4/3 creature insects. Morph cost is X and 2 black. And when Bane of the Living is turned face up, all creatures get -X until end of turn. Grim Specs, I think that is, yep. 2 and a black, 3/2 creature human wizard. Morph for a single black, and whenever another non-token creature you control dies, draw a card. Hex is in here, 4 and 2 black, very simple, destroy 6 target creatures. Silumgar Assassin, 1 and a black, 2/1 human assassin. Creatures of power greater than Silumgar Assassin's power can't block it. Its Megamorph cost is 2 and a black, and when it's turned face up, destroy target creature with power 3 or less and opponent controls. Den Protector's in here, 1 and a green, 2/1 creatures with power less than Den Protector's power can't block it. Its Megamorph cost is 1 and a green, and when it's turned face up, return target card from your graveyard to your hand. Overwhelming Stampede, sorcery speed, 3 and 2 green. Until the end of turn, creatures you control gain trample and get X plus X, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. Seedborn Muse, 3 and 2 green, creature spirit. It's a 2/4 and has the ability untap all permanents you control during each other player's untap step. Tempt with Discoveries in the deck, 3 and a green. It's got Tempting Offer, so these cards go back in Commander's history quite a way. Search your library for a land card and put it onto the battlefield. Each opponent may search their library for a land card and put it onto the battlefield. For each opponent who searches a library this way, search your library for a land card and put it onto the battlefield. Then each player who searches the library this way shuffles it. Thelonite Hermit, 3 and a green, creature elf shaman. It's 1/1. All saplings get +1/+1. It's has morph for 3 and 2 green, and when it's turned face up, create 4 1/1 green sapling creature tokens. Trail of Mystery, 1 and a green enchantment. Whenever a face-down creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. Whenever a permanent you control is turned face up, if it's a creature, it gets +2/+2 until end of turn. It's an interesting combination there of ramp and a pump spell. Biomass mutations in here, so X and then green blue hybrid. Creatures you control have base power and toughness XX until end of turn. Bounty of the Luxor as an enchantment, 2 green blue. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, remove all flooded counters from Bounty of the Luxor. If no counters were removed this way, put a flood counter on Bounty of the Luxor and draw a card. Otherwise add colourless green, white. So it's interesting that has to be colourless mana and not mana of any colour. So hopefully something in here is generating colourless mana. Sagu Mauler for green blue with trample and hexproof, morph 3 green blue. It's a 6/6. Actually, on the subject of generating colourless mana, one would hope it's more than just the Soul Ring. Strynic Resonator, 2 to cast. It's an artifact for 2. Tap, copy target triggered ability you control. You may choose new targets for the copy. So now we're moving on to some land. We've got Darkwater Catacombs in here. So it's a filter land, but you get more out than you put in. So for 1 mana of any colour, tap, add blue, green. Exotic Orchards in here. Tap, add 1 mana of any colour that a land an opponent controls could produce. Llanowar Wastes. Taps to add colourless mana, or taps to add black or green. If you do it that way, if you add black or green, then it deals 1 damage to you. Shrine of the Forsaken Gods. Tap to add colourless mana. Tap to add 2 colourless mana. Spend this mana only to cast colourless spells. Activate this ability only if you control 7 or more lands. Sunken Hollow. Add blue or black. Sunken Hollow enters the battlefield tapped unless you control 2 or more basic lands. Thespian Stage. Tap to add colourless. 2 tap. Thespian Stage becomes a copy of target land except it has this ability. Yavimaya Coast. Taps to add colourless, or you can tap add green or blue for the cost of 1 damage. We've got some island, a swamp. So we're moving on to some basic lands now. I wonder if they've put any the observant among you might be able to tell me what set these lands come from. Normally I think they try and tie it in with the commander. Ash Barrens, so another way to get colourless mana generated. Tap to add colourless, but it also has basic land cycling, so it costs 1. You can discard this land, search the library for a basic land card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. We've got Paducah Bog in here. I wonder if they would put some of the lands in here from the Zendikar block. I think this was this World Wake in that block. I'm trying to remember that far back. Very popular cards to put in commander decks. Paducah Bog enters the battlefield tapped. When Paducah Bog enters the battlefield, exile all cards from target player's graveyard, tap, add black. Command towers in here, no surprise there. Tap, add 1 mana of any colour in your commander's colour identity. Dimare Aqueduct, again, no surprises. These there's a cycle of lands from the original Ravnica block, which crop up all the time because they're just great cards. Enters the battlefield tapped, but a couple of things to remember with this: when it enters the battlefield, you have to bounce a land you control back to your hand, but once this thing is up and running, it gets to tap for blue-black. Evolving Wilds is in the deck, again no surprise. Tap, sacrifice Evolving Wilds, search your library for a basic land card, put it into your battlefield tap, into the battlefield tap, then shuffle your library. And I wonder if, no, here we go, Foul Orchard. Enters the battlefield tapped, tap for black or green, tap to add black or green. Golgari Guildgate, again, Guildgate's very popular to put in these sort of precons. So we've got the one, Golgari's the black-green one, again enters the battlefield tapped. So no real difference there, apart from it's a gate. Golgari Rock Farm, so there's the black-green one from original Ravnica in here as well. So we're probably going to see all the dual lands. Often they just have the particular cycle that is on colour. Sometimes they'll mix it up a bit and put a different card in there from another cycle, which does fixes for a similar colour combination. But generally, a lot of the time they'll sort of follow in the complete cycle. So we've got Jungle Hollow. Enters the battlefield tapped. When it enters the battlefield, you gain 1 life. Tap, add black or green. Myriad Landscape. Enters the battlefield tapped. Tap to add Colorless Mana. 2 tap, sacrifice Myriad Landscape. Search your library for up to 2 basic land cards that share a land type. Put them onto the battlefield tab, then shuffle your library. Opulent Palace is in here. So this one's going to tap for the 3 colours, black, green or blue. You just choose one of those, and of course it enters the battlefield tapped. Reliquary Towers in here. This used to be pretty expensive for an uncommon. I don't know if that's still the case. It's one of these really useful cards that affects your hand size to the degree that you have no maximum hand size, but also taps for mana, in this case colourless. We've got Simic Growth Chamber. So this is the 3rd relevant on-colour card from that original Ravnica cycle, original Ravnica block cycle. Enters the battlefield tapped. You have to bounce a land as well, but once it's untapped, then you get to tap for green, blue. Another Guildgate. This one's the Simic one, so this is green or blue. Temple of the False God. I'm trying to think at a time when they didn't include these in the Commander product. So tap adds 2 colourless, activates this ability only if you control 5 or more lands. Here we go, I was expecting to see this one as well. Terramorphic Expanse, functional reprint of Evolving Wilds. Actually, I think that's around the other way. I think Terramorphic Expanse came first and Evolving Wilds was the functional reprint of that. So tap, sacrifice Terramorphic Expanse, search your library for a basic land card, put it into the battlefield tap, then shuffle your library. Thornwood Falls, another life gain land, enters the battlefield tapped, and this one is the green or blue one. And then we've got Woodland Stream, enters the battlefield tapped, tap add green or blue. And then finally our sort of promotional card just for Magic itself, and a little bit about the popular Magic format. So there we go. It's quite a long go through. There's a lot of rares in these decks as well, and obviously the new cards, so I like to sort of highlight those, and again the land as well, because it's always interesting to see how they're fixing this. Obviously there's a lot of common rarity lands in here, which is no surprising. They're obviously trying to keep the deck within a certain price in terms of you know, considering stuff like that as to what might happen on the secondary market. But it's always fun to go through this product in terms of, you know, obviously the new cards, but the sort of cards they reprint in this particular one. So I'm just trying to find. I realised I put these to one side. So there we have it, just to show you again if you're not super familiar with this deck. So they're the three commanders. There's what they call the primary commander. I often call it the lead commander, which is the one that's sort of, you know, obviously 100% on theme for the deck. And then you have these two secondary commanders where they will work in the deck. Generally, they will play to probably the deck's secondary strategy. But, you know, like anything, it's trying to encourage you to basically, you know, crack more packs or get more cards in some way, and make the deck fit more the sort of strategy we'd want from this. And as we saw in here, we've got one other, I think there was, yeah, one other, a regular legendary if you discount the Planeswalker. So there we have it. That's the Kadena Slinking Sorcery deck. Hope you've enjoyed that, the look at that. And I'll be doing more unboxing of these over the sort of coming week. It's a long weekend here in Nova Scotia, so hopefully I'll get bulk of these decks out in fairly short order. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.